Reverend C.L.Bryant, who should be some. Oh, there you are, C.L.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. This is the last VIP showing of this. Each one of you have been invited here and asked to come here, and of course you came here, many of you, on your own free will as you saw that we were doing this. As Matt mentioned, our friends at Freedom Works has joined with us and have helped us in putting together this fine message to America. And it would not be a message at all if it were not for people like you. This movie will make you laugh, it will make you cry, but above all, we hope that it will make you think. Tonight, I am so grateful to have a true patriot in the building with us, a voice of America, a voice that is not afraid to share his opinion, his thoughts, and then to stand on American principles regardless of what the public opinion may be. He has become definitely a friend and a very familiar face to all of us who are conservatives in this country and love liberty and love freedom. And he has become a very dear acquaintance and friend of mine. I want to introduce to each and every one of you now, my friend, Mr. Glenn Beck.
I have to tell you, CL, you're wrong. And people say this all the time. They'll say, a guy who's not afraid. That's absolutely wrong. I always think of Yoda. You know, he's in the little hut, and Luke says to him, "I'm not afraid." And Yoda looks at him and says, "Oh, you will be." Heaven knows how to fix a proper price to something as valuable as freedom. And most of us have taken our freedom for granted. Even though we were trying to do the things that we were supposed to do, we thought we were. We really, the price for freedom is a lot higher than what most of us were doing. And I see this movie, when you watch it, I watched it about 2 months ago in my office, and I get a lot of movies. And I popped it on, and I was planning on watching, 10 minutes of it, get a gist, see what's going on, watch the whole thing, then passed it on to my staff, said, "You have to watch this. This is great," because it tells the story of people who may be afraid, and in CL's case, loses everything for his opinion on principles. And I think you will see in a lot of the people in this movie, I think you'll see yourself. You might be afraid. You might have moments where you're like, I could lose everything. But you're more afraid of a God that will hold you accountable. We are living in a time, I think of Dietrich Bonhoeffer every day. God will not hold us blameless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. It is important that we speak and that we stand up for principles that we all believe in. I just finished reading Booker T. Washington's Up from Slavery recently. If you haven't read that since you were in school, read it again. I was lucky enough to be able to read an old copy of it, which didn't have the new introduction by the elite that said, "Don't listen to any of this. It's not real. We don't even think that he was really even ever living in a plantation." I mean, crazy stuff, revisionist history. There's a reason why Booker T. Washington has been erased. Because he says, stand up for yourself. It's good. He talks about, I've never heard such compassion. You'll weep in the first 30 pages where he talks about, I don't hate the white man. I feel sorry for the white man. I mean, here's a guy who really has an understanding of God. I feel sorry for the white man. He was just as much of a slave as we were, just in totally different ways. And he talks about, don't let yourself be enslaved again. And he's not talking to the African American, he's talking to all of us. We're all, because we're afraid. We're afraid. He talks about at that moment when he was small. And at that moment, he remembers his mother kneeling by what she called the bed and praying for Abraham Lincoln and weeping. And, oh, Lord, please protect Abraham Lincoln. He didn't know what was really even going on. Soon, he said he remembers a man with a uniform coming to the plantation and saying, "You're free." And the slaves all rejoiced. And there was a big celebration until the sun started to go down. He said, then I noticed that people started to change, and they got quieter and more reflective. And by the nighttime, the conversation turned to, what does that even mean? Freedom is frightening. True freedom is frightening, because true freedom means you have to rely on yourself and the fact that your neighbor is a good person and is going to help when you're down, and you have to help when they're down. That's freedom. Freedom to question all things. As Thomas Jefferson said, question with boldness even the very existence of God. For if there be a God, he must surely rather honest questioning over blindfolded fear. Question. And that's what you're going to see C.L. do in the movie. Question. Question with boldness, no matter what it means in the end. Thank you for coming, and thank you to Freedom Works, and thank you, C.L., for being brave enough to stand up, and all of the African Americans in this movie who are standing up against all odds and just asking questions. Why is this right? Enjoy the movie. Thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight. And again, this is the final showing of VIP, and that includes every one of you. We're so happy to be here in Dallas, Texas. Big D,